Hey, what's up, gang? How's everybody doing? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode where we are continuing our book read on The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. In the prior chapter, if you will, we discussed building your inner citadel and the power of having a place that you can go to in an internal sense to generate power, to recover, to reset, and to find kind of strength and courage to tackle the obstacles that you're facing. And that will lead us into this next strategy that we are going to cover today. Before we dive in, if this is the first video that you're watching of myself, just for context, I do a playlist on a book a month where I read, discuss, and kind of unpack chapter by chapter the book that I'm reading of the month, which just so happens to be The Obstacles Away by Ryan Holiday. So if this video is something that is interesting to you, I would encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, find the playlist, and go from start to finish. If you want to buy the book as well, it'd be awesome. I'm big on reading. I think it's a great habit and kind of a losing or a habit that is being lost in today's world. So I'm trying to bring that back and also kind of teach along the way. So main pieces there I wanted to cover. And then lastly, if you're someone that wants to read with me a book a month, please subscribe. You'll be able to see the categories of books that we will read. You can visit the website. And then also I do some podcasting along the way too. So all that is to say, I appreciate you joining me today, and let's dive in. So today's strategy we will be discussing is called anticipation. And really, as we think about this in comparison to the other strategies within the will portion of the book, anticipation is obviously straightforward to what it sounds. We're trying to anticipate things. But as I kind of read this and broke it down, I see it as basically, we need to discuss the power of building our inner citadel. And then once that is built, or we continue to work on that to build it, I now invite this other strategy to complement that in a beautiful way. So basically what we're looking at here is a concept of premeditation of evils. Now that might sound a little bit more dramatic than what it is, but essentially most of the time we focus on postmortem. We have all heard of that, where we examine things after they happen. There's a lot of value in debriefing after a meeting, kind of debriefing after a military assignment, debriefing after a surgery, really anytime aftermath. We go through the whole process there to kind of figure out what went well, what didn't go well. Premortem, in this kind of context, is intently planning on what could go wrong before they actually happen. So in some sense, we will always have the postmortem where we'll be able to debrief and kind of walk through things. However, if we implement anticipation and also this premortem, we're going to be in a much better position as we go through the event. And that's kind of the general concept. If we can control the beginning and control the end, we're going to have a more successful kind of middle path there. So I'm going to get into the book just a little bit here. So page 140, if you are interested. So your plan and the way things turn out rarely resemble each other. What you think you deserve is also rarely what you get. Yet we constantly deny this fact and are repeatedly shocked when events of the world as they unfold. So I know that's very simple in nature, but just to really kind of dive into that. So oftentimes, obviously, we plan for a thing to go a certain way and we desire a thing to go a certain way. But what's unfortunate is that it rarely does go the way that we plan it. And that's just kind of a life, kind of a life hack, kind of a life knowledge principle, because if we can just accept that 9 times out of 10, our strategy won't go to plan, then we can really look to anticipate a lot of the things that may come up. So it's kind of a way to say, all right, we're going to put a lot of effort into this plan. It's rock solid. However, we're also going to take as much time maybe to dive into the anticipation portion of that and say, okay, what will go wrong? How do we plan for that? And then that way we have our normal plan and our secondary plan. And that combination is very powerful when tackling obstacles again. So I really like that piece. And then we'll turn to page 141 on the other side here. Or let's see here. Okay. So your world is ruled by external forces. Promises aren't kept. You don't get always what's rightfully yours, even if you've earned it. Not everything is as clean and straightforward as the games that not everything is as clean and straightforward as the games they play in business school. Be prepared for this. You have to make concessions for the world around you. We are dependent on other people. Not everyone can be counted on like you can, even though, let's be honest, we're all our own worst enemy sometimes. Fair statement. And that means people are going to make mistakes and screw up your plans. Not always, but a lot of the time. If this comes as a constant surprise each and every time it occurs, you're not only going to be miserable, you're going to have a much harder time accepting it and moving into attempts number 2, 3, and 4. The only guarantee ever is that things will go wrong and or will not go to plan. The only thing we can use to mitigate this is anticipation, because the only variable we control completely is ourselves. So I just really, really like that sentiment, because he's going all the way to the other end of the spectrum to say, okay, not only do we anticipate things going wrong, but we just have to first accept that everything will not go as planned, right? There's going to be something that comes up. But again, the power resides in knowing that will be the case, to have the peace of mind to then implement the plan of the anticipation. So hopefully I'm not overcomplicating this, but I do think that this first piece is vital to really accept the fact that things won't go as planned, and then to be able to respond accordingly. So a couple more pieces here, and then we'll get this chapter wrapped up. We prepare for adversity before it happens. Anticipation doesn't magically make things easier, asterisk, but at least we understand the range of potential outcomes. That's just a really cleaner way of saying what I was just saying earlier. 143 to round out here. So, because unexpected failure is discouraging and being beaten back hurts, but the person who has rehearsed in their mind what could go wrong will not be caught by surprise. The person ready to be disappointed won't be. They will have the strength to bear it. They are not as likely to get discouraged or to shrink from the task that lies before them, or make a mistake in the face of it. You know what's better than building things up on your imagination? Building them up in real life. Of course, it's a lot more fun to build things up in your imagination than it is to tear them down. But what purpose does that serve? It only sets you up for disappointment. With anticipation, we have time to raise defenses or even avoid them entirely. We're ready to be driven off course because we've plotted a way back. We can resist going to pieces. If things don't go as planned. With anticipation, we can endure. We are prepared for failure and ready for success. So this end little piece here is kind of a motivational piece that really says, with it, we can endure, which is important when fighting obstacles, obviously. But furthermore, we can be ready to be successful because we are double or triple prepared for when things don't go the way we plan it to. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, this strategy within the will portion. We are going to keep reading, and I appreciate you guys spending some time with me. Thanks, guys.